All Things Plastics, your go-to podcast where beauty, body journeys, and real talk meet. Today, we're talking beauty, surgery, and bold decisions with Julia, who knows how to chase the glow on her own terms. She's a 34-year-old travel mammography tech from Chicago who is turning heads online with over 18,000 Instagram followers and a viral video with over 4 million views. Julia's surgery journey spans from jaw surgery in Illinois to a mid-facelift in Istanbul just 20 days ago. She's experienced it all: buccal fat removal, neck lipo, and now a facelift that's challenging the idea of when the right time for surgery really is. She's here to talk about recovery across borders, heal while traveling, and how she has adapted to her new followers from her viral reel. Let's welcome Julia to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Girl, that 4 million video reel,
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, she flew to where? You like popped up on my For You page and I was like, I need to get her on the pod.
Yeah, I was honestly so surprised that went viral. Like, I think the next day I woke up and I was like, oh my God.
No, because I think the one that I saw was like, I'm 5,000 miles away from home and like recovering. And then your face, poor thing, was like so swollen. Your eyes were like shut. And I was like, what did this girl do? And where is she? And then I started to like deep dive and I was like, Julia, girl, I got to get her. But I'm so excited to talk about your journey and to get started. So let's talk a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where were you born?
So I am from DeKalb, Illinois, which is a suburb from Chicago, about 60 miles away.
Okay. And you grew up there?
Yeah, so I grew up there and then moved over to the city. So I've been in Chicago for, I want to say like 12 years now.
Oh, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
And what do you do for work out there?
So I'm a mammography technician, kind of like a traveling nurse. So I travel. I was actually working in LA a couple of months ago, actually, at Cedars-Sinai.
Oh, awesome.
I know you're from Beverly Hills.
Busy hospital, girl.
Yeah, very busy. So I've been just traveling around the States. I've worked at Northern California. Yeah, all over Colorado, Chicago.
I love that.
area.
And I totally butchered it. I said mammography. Am I wrong?
Mammography.
Mammography.
Yeah.
That is a mouthful.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for? That's awesome. I didn't know there was like traveling techs.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing for nursing. There's basically all medical field jobs you can travel now. So I've been doing that for 10 years now.
Dang, that's so awesome. And when did you decide you wanted to get plastic surgery and what kind of inspired you?
So it honestly all really started from my jaw surgery journey. So at a very young age, I had braces and my orthodontist told me, hey, like we can fix your teeth and we can straighten them, but you're always going to have that overbite. And I was like, why? He's like, your jaw is not aligned. So you need to get jaw surgery if you want to fix that overbite.
Ooh.
Then I was recommended with an oral surgeon. So I met up with him. And of course, like I was into it right away because I was experiencing a lot of like TMJ. And he also explained that I was going to be having issues down the line. So this surgery actually was considered a medical surgery. So my insurance was able to cover it.
Ooh.
But it's also kind of considered aesthetic because your face does end up changing as well.
Yeah. But jaw surgery is no fucking joke. Like when they break or alter the jaw, it's such a strong bone. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And I've had multiple sets of braces and headgears and extractions, but man, that was tough.
Yeah, and I was 20 years old back then, so it was a really like long healing process.
Yeah. And you like having to drink liquids for so long and you're so swollen and the pain. Oh, I can't even imagine.
I think I was like about to turn 21 too, so I did not go out. I think my surgery was like December and then January is my birthday. I was going to turn 21. So I remember like not being able to go out.
You had like a broken jaw your first birthday. But did you notice a big difference aesthetically wise? Like the change?
Oh yeah. It like my face completely changed. Like the structure.
Especially like that side profile, huh?
Yes. The side profile. Like it gave me more of like a jaw, my side profile, like, and even having with my TMJ problems that was gone. But because of that surgery, one side of my face just didn't adapt to my new jaw. This is what my surgeon told me. He was like, because you got basically a new jaw, your skin didn't adapt to this new jaw now. So like one side. Yeah. So from there, I just had asymmetry on just like one side of my face, which at first I was like, you know what, it doesn't really bother me. But then I feel like down the line, I noticed myself really favoring just one side and only like kind of wanting to take selfies at an angle.
You're all just like the same. The
Yeah,
same
just like
side,
doing
yeah.
that one side. And then it wasn't until I kind of started researching and I was like, there has to be something that I can do about this. And that's kind of when I came in, found out about buccal fat removal. And I was like, I feel like this could help. So I, reached out to a surgeon and then that was like my second surgery that I
Second
got.
procedure. How
Yeah.
did you like that? Do you feel like it was worth it? There was some good transformation that came out of it?
I think definitely. I had very round, chubby cheeks, and felt like that always gave me like that really like a young look. So I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I've always really wanted like a nice like chiseled jawline. So I was like, I want to take some fat out. So it definitely helped. I spoke to the surgeon and he was, I explained to him about my asymmetry and he's like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I can take more out of one side and that could like possibly help with,
Help out a little bit.
about a little bit. So I did that. And although I was really happy, I still like saw that asymmetry.
Mm-hmm.
So then I ended up getting also neck lipo, which
To try
that
to
didn't,
snatch that jawline.
yeah, just to try to snatch that jawline. But that really didn't help with the asymmetry because that was like more like down this area.
Yeah. Just to give
So
you some more definition.
more definition. So then the facelift was kind of like my last resort. That I was like, okay, if I get threads, which is, kind of considered like a mini facelift, I'm like, I feel like a facelift could help this.
Now, did you want to did you get threads first just to test out the waters, or did you go straight to the facelift?
No, so I tried many other things. Like a lot of people in my comments are like, you didn't need like a whole facelift. You could have just done like facial balancing. So I've done all that stuff. I've done Botox, I've done fillers, I did threads. So I tried all that out and I really liked the way threads looked on me. The downside with threads, it's like you have to go like every 6 months.
They go away just as quick as you get them.
Yeah, so fast. It's like you look snatched, but then, a couple months later,
And
it's
then like
back.
things are starting to fall back into place, and you're like, shit, I have
Yeah.
to go drop another $2,000-$3,000.
Yeah. And then they're so expensive.
Crazy.
So I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. And it's just so tiring to keep going in.
It is, definitely. And how did you research your surgeon? Did you come across on Instagram? Did you do a lengthy research? Because you went all the way to Turkey, girl.
Yeah. So I actually started my research here in the States. I was actually living in West Hollywood. So I was like, okay, like I'm at, a good spot. I'm sure I can find some good surgeons. So I called a couple of places in Beverly Hills and the quote that they gave me was anywhere from K to 40K. So I was like, okay, like this is just not an option for me because it's really out of my budget. So I kind of was like, I put that to rest for a little bit. And then obviously like I knew everybody went to Turkey for plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, would you go to Turkey? And it just seemed honestly so scary for me. But I was like, okay, like let's do some research. Like, maybe it's not as scary as, you're making it out to be.
Yeah.
So I did some research. I found a few surgeons on Instagram, was kind of stalking them, looking at their before and afters.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at Reddit reviews.
Yes, I love Reddit. It's such a good tool
Yes.
because people are so brutally honest on Reddit. Like they have no
Yes.
fucks.
Yeah, exactly. So I did Reddit reviews, but I did ChatGPT as well. I was
Gotta
like,
ask the chat.
yeah, I was like, what can you tell me? Like, what dirt can you find on this doctor?
I
Like,
love it. Wait, I never thought about this because I love ChatGPT, but having ChatGPT investigate your plastic surgeon is, oh my God, I love that.
yeah, so I did that. And then I messaged like 3 surgeons. And, me working in healthcare, I was just like really looking for like professionalism, how they would respond. If like anything kind of seems scammy, it's like if they're like asking for like money up front. And so the doctor that I picked, I really liked, the assistant that was like speaking to me. It was actually a nurse. And just like the questions, I was like, okay, like she's like, she's asking me health questions first. It's not like all about like, all right, like send me money.
Yeah.
So like once I was kind of like sure on my surgeon, like that's really big for me, especially because I have like jaw surgery and I know I'm not just like any case. So to me, feeling very confident about my surgeon was very, very important. So like once I went through all of that, I was like, all right, like this is the surgeon that I'm going to pick. And then, kind of went through the process with the nurse through WhatsApp and stuff.
And you coming from the medical field, did you have any reservations about like the anesthesia out there or their practices? practices or guidelines, or were you like, okay, no, like we're gonna be okay?
I feel like I had some reservations on, how they practice, but honestly, like once I arrived to Turkey and like I saw the hospital and like I saw how we did like the pre-op and they were like, doing my blood work and like really wanting to know my health information and stuff. And then just even like knowing his background and stuff and
Mhm.
knowing that he did like journals on his like own facelift technique. And I was like, okay, like
Oh,
they're legit and
good.
like they know what they're
They're
doing.
on their shit. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's so good. And you did like such good research. I love that because for you to go that far, and a facelift is a very big comprehensive procedure no matter what
Yeah.
age. Like you really have to do with any surgery, but man, your face, you really have to do your research
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
Now, you are 20 days post-op and you look so good. The fact that like you're still swollen, but like you could be camera ready. Like I don't see any bruising. You look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love
I'm
it.
honestly surprised because, like, the first couple of days I was so swollen and I was like, I was starting to like psych myself out. I was like, am I ever going to be able to like to see? Is like the swelling ever going
Yeah,
to come
it's
down? And like, am I stuck like this forever? So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with
the
like my
first
healing
couple
process.
weeks.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
looks so good
Thank
for
you.
a little close to 3 weeks out. It looks great.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, you're only 34 and you just had a facelift. We know because of the asymmetry. Did
Mhm.
you ever feel before, because people say, oh my God, you're so young, you're going to get that, right?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever have any, like, I'm really young, should I just wait? Or were you like, no, I need to fix this, and if I need another one later, I could do a small tweak later?
Yeah, like obviously that thought crossed my mind because when you think about a facelift, you usually think, somebody older. So, but because
Yeah.
I've had threads before, I was like, that's technically like a facelift. And once doing my research
True.
in Turkey, I was like facelifts in Turkey are actually a lot more common on young people. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is like not unusual. And my age, I'm 34. It's not like I'm in my 20s anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
after doing some research, I learned that the best time to actually get a facelift is when you're 35 to like 40 because of, your collagen and your elasticity. And it's just the healing process would be a lot quicker. So basically, I feel like I just disregarded all the outside noise and of like listened to my gut. I felt like that was really important because I actually didn't really share this with anybody before, like family. Like my parents knew that I was going to Turkey, but they didn't know that I was actually getting a facelift.
Oh no, they thought you were going on vacation?
Yeah, so they thought that I was just going on
Girl.
vacation. Obviously told like, two close friends and my boyfriend, of
Yeah.
course, just in case anything did happen. But I really didn't want people putting fear onto me because I was already nervous. So I was like,
Yes.
you've done your research, I trust myself in this decision. Like I don't want anybody else, just telling me things and just making me more
Mm-hmm.
nervous and like question my decision.
And was your mom, when your parents found out, were they like, girl, or were they kind of more understanding, or you probably took them by shock for a minute?
No, yeah, they were definitely really, really shocked. I actually just saw my parents like a couple of weeks ago, and my dad was like, "Never do that again, okay?" Like
You're
at
like, I
least
hope I
like
don't have to.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's like the last one. But honestly, I just did it because I didn't really want to worry them. It's just huge.
And
It's
that's
like a really big.
everyone's. Yeah, it's a big move to make. And if you're already dedicated to doing it, you're like, I don't need any more outside noise or negativity because I'm gonna do this shit regardless.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, you know what? Like you're old enough. Like you did your research. So yeah.
Yeah. And your parents too, I don't know how old they are, but maybe they would have that older mentality of like, oh my God, sweetie, you're so young. But it's like, no one is getting, well, I shouldn't say anyone. More people are getting facelifts when they're younger right now. That is kind of the trend that we are seeing. No one's waiting till they're 50, 60, 70. It's, they say do it when you're younger. You have better outcomes and you have more natural results, right? Because you could
Yeah.
do 2 little subtle pools instead of 1 huge pool and
Mhm.
looking crazy. And I think that's why facelifts also get a bad rep because a couple decades ago, people were waiting till their skin laxity was already shitty and they're trying to do so much and pull so much and then they
Yeah.
end up looking crazy. So it's like
Yeah.
when we say we want to get a facelift, people are like,
Yeah.
wait, you're going to look crazy. And it's like, no, you're still going to look like yourself, just more refreshed and
Yes.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly, I think
Definitely.
that's why like my page also got a lot of traction because they're like, wait, what, 34 facelift? So,
And I don't know if you saw on our page, we interviewed Emily, love her little
Mhm.
soul. She was 28 when she got a mid
Oh my God.
facelift.
Wow.
Yes, girl. And she went to Turkey as well.
Mhm.
And she's from
Yeah.
Canada and hers hers went viral, like
Oh, wow.
viral, just like yours, but she was 28. So it's crazy. But both of you guys look amazing. Now, tell us about like the recovery process in Turkey. I know I saw a little video. Everything looked luxe. It looked clean. Like,
Mhm.
were you taken back about how luxe it was in Turkey?
Honestly, yeah, I was. Like, I walked in and I was like, wow, this is like super fancy. And I was actually talking to one of the drivers and he was like, this is like a really nice hospital. Like, I was like, oh, really?
Nope.
He's like, yeah. But yeah, I was honestly shocked. I've worked in really nice hospitals here in the States. Like, I've worked at Stanford Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals. And yeah, I was like taken aback. Like, the nurses were really on top of it, just making sure that I was good. So they left like a really, really good impression on me.
I love that. And it looks so when you go to like a different country for your surgery, they had a car service for you. They had a place to
Mhm.
put you up. Take us on that journey, like how that booking process was, how long did you stay, and what all the amenities were when you were staying out there.
Okay, so the surgery, what they provide is 2 nights to stay at the hospital after your surgery. They provide a driver, but they don't provide a hotel. The driver part was really nice because, I've never been to Turkey. You're out of the country, so you don't have to worry about that. So I really loved
Mm-hmm.
that because he was like already there, ready. I didn't really have to, look around or anything. He takes you to your hotel, whatever Airbnb takes you to your appointments, picks you up from surgery.
Ooh, personal chauffeur. Love that.
So that was really, really nice. And then after my 2 nights at the hospital, I booked a hotel. I was actually staying at the Hilton. I wanted to make sure that I was like just really comfortable, something nice
Mm-hmm.
and something close to the hospital just in case anything did happen.
And you didn't want to take anyone with you to Turkey to help you recover. You were like, I'm doing this by myself.
Well, okay, so I did ask 2 friends. I asked my cousin and I asked a friend. They were both like, okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll come with you. But then they were like, I can't come till this date or I can't come to this date. And I was like, you know what? Like, I need to get this done now because I want to be snatched by the summer. And if I wait that long, I was like, it's just gonna, and I don't know then what else would come up, So I feel like sometimes people aren't reliable. And yeah,
You are a
so
brave soul.
thank you. Yeah, so nobody could come with me and I'm actually so thankful that I went because my surgeon has gone viral. So I've heard from so many other people that his prices have gone like crazy high. Like my surgery is now double of what I paid for.
Oh, he raised his prices. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and I kind of
He better cut you a check.
I know, right? That's what people keep saying. It's like you're promoting him for free. But like even before myself, I kind of like saw that coming. I was like, oh, I feel like he's gonna get popular. I feel like I need to like book this ASAP. So I'm really
Before
happy
he
that I
gets
did
big,
it.
yes.
Yeah, so I'm happy that I decided to go when I went and didn't wait for anybody.
Now, your whole package and your price in
Mhm.
Turkey, how much did that cost you? Because I know you said the States, we're looking at anywhere between $20 to $45,000, and that's kind of on the low ball side because I know some plastic surgeons that charge K for a facelift. But how much was it in Turkey? Was it pretty reasonable?
Yeah, it was pretty reasonable. So my mid facelift was 6,500, and then the temporal
Okay.
yeah, the temporal lift was 2,000, so the total came out to 8,500, and that included the 2 nights at the hospital, the whole like pre-op, me getting like blood work and stuff. Yeah, and the driver, which I feel like is amazing.
That girl, that's a steal.
Yeah.
100%. No wonder why the girls are going to Turkey.
Yeah, no, I felt like that was like great, and then my flight was just like $1,000, so I think I came up with the total, and it was like somewhere like 10,500, I think, with the whole trip.
With travel fees and
Yeah.
everything.
So I was like, oh, this is great. Because now I feel like some girls have reached out to me and they've told me that my surgery is now 20K. So I'm like, oh man, like I got a great deal.
He really doubled the prices
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Now we'll talk about, your recovery and all that. Which part was the most challenging for you? Was it the swelling of the eyes? Was it the drainage?
I would say it was like the emotional roller coaster, like going through these like ups and downs of like your face changing and like looking at yourself in the mirror and then like seeing a different face every day. So I would
Yeah.
say that was like the most hard part. The physical part is also hard, the swelling and stuff. And for me, I wasn't able to open my eyes for a while. But
Yeah.
definitely, I feel like the emotional part, the nurse told me about that. They gave me some pre-op instructions, but I actually didn't realize how like intense the emotional part would be. And then on top of that, like me putting it on Instagram, and then reading all these like negative comments and then like feeling good about myself, but then going in the mirror and being like, oh, this person said this thing. Is that true? It's just like, you're just questioning everything.
People are just, and we're going to deep dive into that in a second. People are so nasty on Instagram. It's like, you already got the work done. Like, even like, just don't say anything. It's already done. We're already here.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
And were you on top of, when your recovery, were you on top of your ointments, your icing, your meds? Like, was that easy for you to do alone?
Was on top of it, but to be honest, like, I was really, really nervous when he told me, okay, like, you're only going to be here 2 nights and then you're, going to go to your hotel. So I was like really nervous about that because, one, I was having a hard time opening my eyes because I was so swollen.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, am I going to really be able to do this on my own? So it did add an extra layer to this whole thing. And at that moment I was like, man, I really do wish that I would have brought somebody with me. But then I gave myself a little like pep talk. I was like, all right, Julia, put your big girl pants on. You brought yourself here. Like, you can do this. And I was fine. I was like, it's not that hard. Like, you got this. So just like, talking to myself. I did read a lot of like, even like affirmations and stuff through healing in the hotel, just to keep like my spirit up and just focus on healing and not being too hard on myself.
Yeah. And what would you say that what post-op supplies kind of helped you during your recovery process that you're like, if I did this again, these are the go-to supplies that I need to have?
Definitely like bringing some like electrolytes with you from like the States. So you have that, and you're just drinking water. I brought a red light with me, and I love, like, even before the surgery, I love my red light. Like, I use it for everything.
Yes.
Whenever I break out or like pick a pimple or something, I put the red light, and I've noticed like the healing just so much faster. So definitely that's all I can really think about.
Okay, those are two good, really. Mm-hmm. It's so important because the mental challenges after surgery, no matter what you get, is so tough. And I try to put that on our platform and speak about it. But I can only say too much when people are like, no, I'll be fine. No, and it's like, oh, shoot, I got this done. What the hell did I do? Did I make the right choice? This looks different than what I expected. Like, there's so many aspects that play into it. And what are people going to think about me? It's such a big topic that people really need to do the research and mentally prepare ahead of time prior to your surgery. There's a lot of pros to plastic surgery, but guess what? What comes along with a lot of those pros? A lot of cons. And I love that your social media, you were open and transparent with everyone to show the good and the bad, because plastic surgery, any type of surgery, is risky no matter what. People need to be well informed if what they're getting into and if they can handle what they're getting into. And recovery is sometimes harder than the surgery itself. It honestly is. And there's so many different aspects that go into it. You're not just going to get surgery, get cut up, then go back home, and then a week later you're back into your daily routine. Like, it doesn't work like that. We wish, but it doesn't. So I love that you showed both. That's a good tip for the girlies who are listening if they're ever considering a facelift. But what advice would you give to anyone that is planning to recover alone? Which we do not advise this, but if you don't have a friend or a significant other or a family member, what advice would you give someone, especially in another country?
So although you are going alone, I would prepare emotionally for the emotional roller coaster, and also just having people that are going to be in your corner, having friends that you're going to be able to FaceTime and are going to be there to support you. Because yeah, you're going alone, but you can't do this alone. Like, you do need the support of your friends, because it is going to be very difficult. Like, it's not, just going in and out. Like, you're just going through so much. Like, yeah, I did go alone, but definitely, like, my friends helped me a lot. I had a lot of moments where I broke down and I was able to call a friend. They're like, okay, you got this. We knew that this was going to be part of like the process. So yeah, so definitely, yeah, you're going alone, but having people there.
A strong support system that you can talk with. And sometimes you just need to talk, get it off your chest, explain what's going on, and then you feel slightly better and you're like, okay, like, we can do this.
Yeah, like right after surgery, I remember getting into my room and like crying and just being like, oh my God, I'm so far away. Like, what have I done? I don't speak the language. Like, I can't really like express to the nurses like what I'm feeling right now. So, you definitely are going through it.
Definitely. And, all the emotions prior to surgery too, like being scared, all that comes out. When they say when you wake up out of anesthesia, there's only 3 moods. You're either laughing, you're crying, or you're angry.
Yeah.
And it's like all the built up emotions and what you're feeling deep down, it kind of just like naturally comes out post-operatively. I feel bad, especially because you were alone. You're in the hotel or, the hospital. You can't even watch TV. You can't even be on your phone. So you're just kind of laying there by yourself. I mean, I know you're in and out of sleep because you're tired and the meds, but You
Yeah.
can't even like distract yourself. Did you play any podcasts or listen to any music? What did you do on your downtime?
So I listened to music. I was FaceTiming friends, but honestly, like the screen was really bothering my eyes.
Mm.
Most of the time I was just going to bed, honestly, and just closing my eyes because I was in so much pain. The light was really bothering me. I was just taking my meds and knocking off out. I did watch some Kardashians. So that was fun. But yeah, not a lot of no, yeah, not a lot of TV. Just mostly the music, talking
Yeah.
to friends, you know.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
glad your
But
whole
you know,
uh-huh.
to be honest, like I am just I like to work and I'm constantly moving. So I'm either at like the gym, I'm doing Pilates, just doing something. So I was like, you know what, let me use this as an opportunity to just rest because you never actually just like take some time and rest. Like I have
Yeah.
such like a problem just like doing nothing. It's like I need to constantly be doing something. So
Same
it was
girl.
nice. So I was just
I'm literally the same
yeah.
way. It's like
Yeah.
why
So it
there's
was like
always something to do. So what can we do in the downtime?
yeah, so like this time I was literally forced to just lay down and rest. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I just have to relax.
And when did you fly back home? How long after your facelift? And how was flying back home? Were you like embarrassed at all or try to cover with a scarf or anything when you were taking that flight?
Oh my God. I flew out 7 days after because you have to go in on the 6th day for your follow-up. So once
Okay.
he gave me the okay, the next I see miserable on the plane. My
Oh.
face was so swollen. Um, you know, although like plastic surgery is really common in Turkey, like my
Mm-hmm.
surgeon was like, don't worry about it. Like it's just so common. You see people here walking around with the hair transplants, you know, facelift.
Yeah,
But I was still feeling a little self-conscious about it because
of
like obviously
course.
like, you're swollen, people are staring at you. Maybe they're not staring at you, but you just feel like everybody's staring at you. Um, I still couldn't see. So I was pretty miserable. It was such a long flight. It was 16 hours. I just like took meds
Oh,
and knocked out. I was like,
16
just
hours?
16
Jesus.
hours. Yeah. So I was pretty miserable. It was not fun at all.
Oh, I mean, a 16-hour flight, no surgery sounds miserable. And then you're adding that on top of it.
Yeah, it honestly was just quite a journey, like the whole thing from start to finish. But flying back, I could have stayed in Turkey a little bit longer because people kept telling me just stay in Turkey, but I really just wanted to be home and, just eating like the things that I like, things that I can't get over there. So I just really wanted to go home.
Yeah, I feel that. Now, let's talk about your social media and going viral. You've built a following of over 18,000 followers on Instagram. Did you always plan to share your surgery journey, or is that kind of something that just you posted one video and then you're like, oh, the traction's good, so you kept on posting the same content?
You know what? I've always wanted to be very honest about the work that I've gotten done, and have become very fascinated by plastic surgery just by the procedures that I've gotten, and I've always let fear get in the way. Like what are people gonna
Mm,
think? You know, um, but for this surgery, I just kind of was like, you know what? I really want to be honest. And I feel like, people should see this, especially for like younger women. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on looking a certain way. And, I want people to see like that there's a lot going on in the back, to these results. Like I didn't just
yes.
wake up like this and, have a jawline. Maybe there's a younger version of me going through the same issue. So I just really wanted to be transparent and I wanted to help people as well.
I love that. And it takes a lot because, of course, everyone has an opinion online,
Yeah.
good and bad, sometimes more
Yeah.
bad. And it's scary to put yourself out there. And, when you're making alterations to yourself, that could come with a lot of judgment. And so it's
Yeah.
definitely really scary.
Yeah. But to be honest, most of it has been very positive. Like I get
Good.
messages every day and everybody's like, I'm so happy that you're doing this because I'm thinking about it, or I actually have a facelift booked like in a couple of months, and like
Hmm.
seeing your journey is making me feel better about it.
I love that. I love that. And, it helps so many girls. And the more open that people are with their surgery journeys, it helps everyone. So I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
Now, one of your videos hit over 4 million views. I think it's like 4.4 million or something.
Mhm.
What was your reaction? Were you like, wait, what? And has it opened any doors for you?
Yeah, like I remember waking up and just being like, oh my God, like I'm getting a bunch of followers and everybody's liking this post. But then I was like, you know what, this is gonna die down. Like it's not a big deal. And
No,
then it
girl,
just
the
kept
app, the
getting,
algorithm pushed it out there.
yeah, no, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And has it opened any doors? I wouldn't say, I mean, just I would just say just, the positive feedback has been really nice to hear. But I'm trying to think of anything. I mean, this podcast came out of that. So
Yes, which is
that's
your
really
story's going to
cool.
reach even more girls, so that's so exciting.
Yeah, but just honestly hearing from girls saying, thank you so much for doing this. And I've had also girls tell me like, hey, I've been recommended jaw surgery. Do you think I should go for the facelift first? And I'm like, no, no, no. You need to get your jaw fixed first. So not necessarily like something specific, that
Uh-huh.
I've, you know, but
Yeah.
just the fact that I've been like able to help people, that means a lot to me.
And has your surgeon or that clinic in Turkey reached out to you again, like, oh my God, or want to do extra collabs with you, or have they kind of just been doing their own thing over there?
It's been actually mixed. So the surgeon actually reached out and he's like, "Oh my God, like you're really popular. Like people like
Uh-huh.
are coming in and like, asking what you got and stuff." But then I did get some negative feedback from my videos. The nurse actually reached out and asked if I could stop sharing the price that I paid because they've gone up on their prices. So they were like, hey, can you please not share the price? Like we're having issues. People like are complaining. And I told her, the purpose of my Instagram is to be completely transparent. So
Yeah, you're the one who
like I'm gonna
changed the prices, not me.
yeah. So I was like, I'm sorry that you're having issues with patients now because patients, I guess, are going in now and be like, but why did she get this price? And now you're charging us this price. So yeah, so a little bit of both. Surgeon definitely like, he likes that this has gone viral, but then, on the other side, I guess they're not very
And
happy
it's
that
like
I've been sharing
he
the
did
price.
such a big jump. Like he doubled. He went like full on double. Like you could have at least went like, I don't know, from what, 8,000 to, I don't know, 15,000 at least. You went to
Yeah. Yeah.
$20,000. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. So that's definitely like a negative. I feel like, that he's done that on his part. But yeah, like I said, I'm just sharing my story
You
and I
paid
want
your
to be,
amount and you're sharing your story, and that's
yeah.
on them that they changed the prices.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to be as transparent as, I can be. And I'm going to share it all. It's my story and
Yeah.
it's my
And
Instagram.
yeah, and that's, sadly what a lot of surgeons do. You pay for the name of the surgeon. So once they get bigger,
Hmm.
they can charge what they used to charge $30,000 for a facelift. Now they're charging 100K because all the influencers, all the celebrities are going to them. You're paying for the
Yeah.
name. I got it done by so
Yeah.
and so. So it's
Yeah.
like yeah, that's crazy. And it's almost like he might lose a little bit more clientele by charging 20 right now as he's
Yeah.
still growing rather than keeping it 10, 15,000, especially in Turkey. $20,000 is a lot in Turkey, right?
It's a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's actually exactly what's happening. Like a lot of people are reaching out and being like, I was going to go for him, but that is just crazy. And, it just
Yeah.
doesn't look, it's not a good look. And I'm like, yeah, I completely agree with you. You have to do what's best
Especially
for
the
you.
maybe like especially the patients coming from you and the viral video. It's like they know how much, so you should just honor that price. And then maybe
Yeah.
other people who I don't know. I'm just yeah, but
Yeah.
that sucks overall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And how are you handling the judgment? Because I know after surgery it did take an emotional toll on you, but now that you're a couple weeks post-op, your swelling's going down, everything's looking more put together. Are you concerned with the judgment? Are you taking it a little less harsh?
You know what? Initially, when it started happening, I was like, okay, that's great. If you have haters, that means, that means
You're
you're doing something
popping.
good. Yeah. So I was like, what, whatever. It doesn't bother me. But I would say that as of recently, I take breaks from social media because after,
Hmm.
you're reading these bad comments constantly. And then it's like,
Yeah.
you start to question, like, do I need this?
Hmm.
Does this look bad? You go back into the mirror and be like, oh my God, maybe they are right. So as of
Hmm.
right now, I'm just really focused on my healing and especially my mental health. So, just knowing, being sure of myself and why I did this, and you know, I like the results, so I think that's all that matters. And
I
just
love that. You're such in a good headspace.
yeah,
I love that so much.
yeah.
And when do you plan
So
on
yeah,
going? going back to work?
So I plan to go back to work in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
You
I
took
think
a
that
good
should
amount of
be,
time off.
yeah. So I think another 2 weeks should be fine. I mean, right now I'm pretty much back to doing normal activities. I can eat, the doctor did recommend me to, start moving my body, like working out is fine. And, even eating normal foods because I was on an all liquids diet at first. But he's like, no, like start going out there, start, moving your mouth. He did say that like after 6 weeks, that's when people usually feel more comfortable being social. He's like, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out.
Any earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what message do you hope your followers take away from your story?
I hope they take away that, it's not easy. You're not going to go in looking like the after picture. And that was the whole point on showing the ugly side of my journey, just knowing that it's an emotional roller coaster, it's a process, but you just have to really like, trust the healing process. And also, I just want people to see that, I'm getting work done. I don't want other young women to think that, I'm just coming out like, oh, I just lost some weight or I just went and got a facial.
Being
Like,
honest
no,
what it takes to achieve certain looks.
yeah. 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 So I really wanted to be transparent on that part because, I feel like some people hide it, which is definitely okay. It's their decision. But I think it's good that a lot more women, are being honest.
100%, I agree with you. And you are being so honest, and what this journey that you're sharing and how you're sharing it is honestly phenomenal. And I'm excited to continue to see your progress. And I know we're not going to see final results for a couple months, but it's already looking so good. And I'm excited. I feel like your social media is going to continue to grow, and you'll kind of figure out what you want to do with it, and doors will definitely open. But so far it's amazing, and I'm so glad that you wanted to come on the pod and share your surgery journey with the girls. And I think it's great. You told your story and you were so transparent. So it's definitely going to help other girls for sure.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I definitely, had a few other things that I wanted to share just to like really complete the story because there's only like so much, I can share in a reel. So thank you so much for having me on here.
Of course. And you guys, we will definitely be tagging and collabing with Julia. So if you guys want to see her results and see her whole journey, she documented everything. Every day, every step, her whole trip. You guys can go onto her socials, ask her questions, follow her, and yeah, so that's going to be really exciting for our listeners. Well, you guys, we will talk to you next week. And thank you again, Julia, for coming on. And we will definitely be keeping up with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you guys, talk to you next week. Bye.